John from Ripewave Audio to introduce a new series we're going to call Ripewave Connections. And the whole idea on this is to stay more connected with you, the audience. And of course, we do more of a full review every week with this channel, but we'd like to do something kind of in between, a little more informal, let you know what's going on in hi-fi and home theater news. Read a little bit more of the comments that are coming in, bring a little more context than I can with just some text in here. Sometimes I don't quite understand the question, and maybe this audience can help sort that out, and we'll spawn more discussions from that. So I think that's going to be a good news and give you a sense of what we're doing in the channel and in between the videos and what's coming up next. Now, one of the things that I'm looking at is the new JBL MA series that just got announced a few weeks ago. A little bit late getting our content out on that, but it is coming. And that MA stands for Modern Audio. And what they're trying to do is introduce some lower cost JBL models. I think the most expensive one is going to be $1,500. Fit in a little bit more of a lifestyle product with some a little more hip designs. And they even have, and if you haven't seen it already, these videos that are promotional videos that they've created themselves, where you have a younger narrator telling the story about these AV receivers, kind of a half disinterested, but still knowing some of the facts. You know, one of the things that she's saying is it supports a center channel, so you don't have to read the dialogue. Ooh, of course, you listen to it. I can't really do it justice, but it's really a different approach, and it's bringing in a younger audience. We'd love to bring a wider audience into what we enjoy with home theater as an enthusiast. So we'll see if that marketing works for them. A few things we want to cover today. If you've been following this channel, we do have a Marantz Cinema 50, which is just over my shoulder here. That is going back for some repairs. At least I think there's some things that need attention. There is that center channel that isn't working properly. On the pre-out, the internal amplifier is running just fine. We also have a hum that occurs when we're using our cable box. You know, is it something that we can't avoid, or is it something they can address? Now, that's an issue that really hasn't happened with the other receivers and processors that we brought in-house, so hopefully they can give some explanation to that, if not fix it. So we're waiting to see on that. And in doing so, and getting this ready to go, I did power this up. And when you do power up the Cinema 50, one of the things that it does is checks to see if there's new firmware. And in this case, we are seeing that there is a new firmware available on the Marantz Cinema 50. Now, one of the options, and they keep putting to your attention, is that the Cinema 50 can go into an automatic update mode. And if you don't want to deal with it and you just want this to apply the updates as they come without any interaction, that is fine. But what we say is no. I'm going to say update later, because what I'm trying to do is find out what are the fixes that come with this. And the Marantz website typically does not show what is in the new firmware. They're not giving you release notes, if you will, on a firmware update. And I find that one of the areas where you can find out what's in new firmware is if you bypass the auto update, and it will tell you this update improves overall performance and stability. Now, still not telling us much, but certainly something that we want to do. Now, this just timed out on me, but I can go back into General, into Firmware, check for update. And it says it's going to take about 6 minutes. So I'm going to hit the update now. And it's going to say, do I want to turn on auto updates? We're going to say no, because I do want to see what type of message Marantz is putting out. Now, I take it that these are pretty minor fixes where they would have said a little bit more. So we're going to let that cook. And while that is cooking, we're going to read through some of your comments on the last video. The last video that we published was on the new McIntosh MX200. AV processor. This is a $6,000 unit, entry level to the line to replace the MX100 slimline product. Some of the first two comments that we got was on the value of this product being $6,000. And you really see both sides of the equation, both perspectives, and both perspectives is valid, either being too expensive or it's a good value. So we see the first question here that, hey, $6,000, it's a ripoff. You're better off buying a top-of-the-line Onkyo, Pioneer, or Yamaha. And hey, look, the McIntosh has really these qualities that go beyond a checkbox of features. My feeling is if you are really just focused on feature sets, I need to have it Dolby Atmos, I need to support these speaker layouts, I'd say absolutely you could focus in on those higher value products. And, some of them sound quite nice. But McIntosh has these other qualities, right? So this other comment that came in on the same vein was, hey, it's a good product for the money. Now, these are two opposite ends of the spectrums. And this is what I'm saying. McIntosh delivers more than just this feature checklist, right? You've got something that has this classic look and feel, and it really can be a centerpiece of your system. And I think those who are buying a McIntosh are buying it for not just the feature set, but for these other characteristics. So really good comments in on that. Another comment on the same vein, out of reach for most customers. And given that, and this person obviously is interested in a McIntosh, he's like, well, what if I use an older model? What if I went for an older model like the MX160, get it secondhand? Because they don't make that anymore. There's been the 170 and now the 180. And my feedback to this individual was, look, if you want that classic look, they got this build quality, they're able to support these products for a long time. They really have this excellent support mentality, made in the USA, high quality unit. So if you can live without the latest feature sets, I say, yeah, definitely look at some of the older models. And I would say that about a lot of other receivers out there. When they come out with new models, sometimes that's an opportunity to buy the older product at a lower price. Maybe the prior generations, maybe back further than that, depending on what the original price was, right? Maybe you need to go back even older if these were really expensive to begin with. Then we had this thread that came in about how it looks on the inside. Now, in the video, we talk about the interior shots, which we don't usually get from McIntosh, and we do get it for the MX200. This individual is sharing that, hey, the Yamaha RX AAA, that does have some interior shots on their website. Yeah, we do see this from some vendors, but you don't get it from a lot of them, right? There's a lot of times it's really hard to see what it looks like inside. And when they do that, we really appreciate it. It really shows the quality, the build quality inside the unit and the type of components that they're using. Are they using a toroidal power supply, E-core? And some of these details aren't even articulated on the specification sheet. Now, this next question is on the HDMI 2.1 features. Now, in our videos, when we do a comparison, we show video. And for HDMI 2.1, we show all the different feature sets, variable refresh rate, auto low latency mode, etc. That 2.1 introduced. This individual is saying, well, I can't get a combination of things. I'm trying to get 120 hertz and use variable refresh rate. And he's saying it's not compelling. Now, this is not something I've tested out or explored. A very neat thing to try out. But what I'll say this, you can't always use all these things together. So while we say it supports 120 hertz, we're not saying it supports all those feature sets for 120 hertz. Nor does the manufacturer get into that level of detail. Haven't seen that yet. So perhaps, as we evolve here, we're able to do some more testing. We can explore more on that level of detail on the video support and whether you get VRR or auto low latency and all the refresh modes. You're raising a good point here. Here's a comment that comes in, hey, this is all looking good, and we're going to make the assumption this is going to sound great, but he's concerned that HDR10 Plus is not available. So if you have one of these televisions, that's what it supports, this isn't going to be a good fit because you want to leverage that technology. So they're saying, hey, for this price, it should have HDR10 Plus, and it should have Oral 3D. It's missing a few things. And I agree. When you start getting up in these upper tier prices, one would expect more of the boxes to be checked on the feature sets. They also bring up the fact that there's no streaming services, and you know me, I don't care about having streaming services in the AVR, but it's something you care about. Please let me know, where's the strong use cases for having the streaming built into the AVR? Obviously, all-in-one convenience, I get that one, but is there something a little deeper than that? And this individual is saying they don't care about having that built in. And they're also curious, when we do our comparison on the sound quality, where it will fit in. Of course, we'd have to bring that unit in-house to have that evaluation. So for right now, I don't even know if these are shipping yet. And a fair point, matching it with other McIntosh gear, yes, certainly a plus. Unless the sound quality is that far superior, they're not going to be compelled to go for this unit at $6,000. Here's another one jumping and saying, for $6,000, I want a large OLED display and animations and real images and system components, and be able to see current voltages and temperatures, a little more feature set on the UI or the front panel. And I would say from a lot of brands, I would hold that true. It's just very hard for a company like McIntosh to pivot off of their classic two-line dot matrix display because they really don't change that much over decades. Right? Of course, at one point they did add in dot matrix displays. That wasn't from the 50s, but they did introduce that. But they weren't the first to go and do that type of thing. If they do add in something like an OLED display or a color touchscreen display on the front of this, that would be neat to see how they incorporate it, fold it into that classic design without tarnishing their brand. But yes, point taken. And then it's just at the end, fantastic summaries. That kind of wraps up the comments for this video. So far, we're trying to answer them all as they come in. We have periods where we can't get to everything, but we do try. Now the Marantz has done its upgrade, and that should be fine. And at this point, I'm going to put in the box and send it over to Marantz. Now what they've sent me here, and this is one of the last items, is a box. An empty box. I thought one of the weird things was they made me sign the FedEx that got shipped to the house. They wouldn't just drop it off. They must ship everything the same. This one's empty. If they left it on my doorstep and somebody stole it, it wouldn't have been a big deal. But we had a sign for it. We weren't here on day one. We were here on day two, and then we have it, right? They do give you a sheet inside that shows you how to package it, and does come with the foam inserts. I'm assuming this is going to fit the Cinema 50 just fine. On an email, they gave me a packing slip to send it back. I don't know how long it's going to take them to receive, diagnose, and send it back, but we'll keep you updated on this channel. So I hope you found this new connections type format useful, and I hope to see you back here often. And keep those comments coming. We love to see them. And as always, keep evolving your audio experience.